It's a tough road. It's a real tough road. My parents aren't on board with what I'm doing. Ever since I told them I was going about this, it just got silent from them. Some people don't want their illusions shattered, and I understand that, but eventually the illusion's going to crumble, and we're going to see what's really going on.
This is the People's Convoy, a group of lorry drivers who are calling for an end to all COVID restrictions across the US. After a 4,000-kilometer journey from California, they arrived in Washington, D.C. Hundreds of lorries, vehicles, and cars have since been circling the city's beltway on a daily basis, threatening to cause traffic on the major motorway.
What brought us here today was freedom. We got to stand up for America because somebody's got to do it.
It was inspired by similar demonstrations that paralyzed Ottawa, Canada's capital city, where we reported from early in 2022. We wanted to find out how the movement in the US compared and what its future was as rumors swirled of the convoy's imminent departure. We traveled to Hagerstown, a small city in Maryland, about an hour-and-a-half's drive from Washington, where the drivers had been camped out for weeks outside a local car racing track.
A lot of the signage and the flags here are pretty similar to ones that I saw up in Ottawa. You see a lot of this Canadian and American flag kind of half and half, and obviously that symbolizes the close relationship between the two countries, but also these two movements.
And this movement started out strong. These drone shots show the scale of the People's Convoy in its early days. But today, the racing track has emptied out, just a handful of followers remaining.
If you look at back in any of the original live streams from when they left California, over overpass, there was people on almost every overpass in the middle of nowhere. There were people who were driving 6 hours to come to an overpass, to then wait 2 to 4 hours just to watch the convoy come by and show their support of freedom. There's grassroots for this everywhere. It's known everywhere, but it's being suppressed by the mainstream media.
I have a picture here. This picture shows you what was here in this place, particular place, Hagerstown, when the convoy came in for the first time. Canada started, it's a spark. Now it's a fire.
Had watched what went on in Canada and just couldn't not be a part of this. Like, I had to be here, and I'll be here until we've accomplished something.
This is Donnie Thomas. He'd traveled to Maryland from California and was still devoted to the cause, despite its dwindling active supporters.
This has not had the same kind of effect as what happened in Canada has had.
No, and I think it's the spin of the story and the media not covering us, and when they do cover us, it's negative. My grievances are the overreaches of the government and them telling us what we can do with our personal bodies. We have gone away from our constitutional rights, and if we let them have the power that they want, we will never get it back. We can never get our freedom back once we give it away. So now's our chance to do it without bloodshed, wake some people up, get them contacting their representatives and go through those channels. But if this doesn't work, the only other way is bloodshed, and I don't want that. No one wants that. But we have to do something, or else our future generations will have to fight for it.
COVID cases have been falling in the US after a wave of the Omicron variant, but the virus is still a threat. About 30,000 Americans come down with COVID every day, and over 700 people die. And while many states across the US have relaxed pandemic-related restrictions owing to the dip in cases, the federal government is keeping cautious. Face masks are still required on public transport, such as planes, trains, and buses. US President Joe Biden announced a vaccine mandate for federal employees, although that issue is now stuck in the court system. He also renewed a national emergency, which was originally declared by Donald Trump in March 2020. This gives the government special powers, allowing it to spend additional funds and more easily take certain actions. To To the protesters here, including Donnie, that's a step too far. He showed us where he's been camped out, braving frigid conditions to make his voice heard.
Yeah, welcome to my humble camp.
So how long have you been set up here?
I set it up probably 2 weeks ago, I think. Maybe about a week and a half. Just took one day off from the convoy and got myself a place because I needed a place to be. When it's cold, I start a fire and then I get coals and fill this with coals and slip it like right here, and then it heats the tent, and it's pretty good.
Can you show us inside?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know how. It's probably just all thrown full of blankets because it's been pretty cold. Mostly it's blankets, just because it's been cold. And some of the blankets I got, they were donations. Okay. You know, just full of blankets and clothes.
And so like a month ago or 2 months ago, or not 2 months, 2 weeks ago, way more people here, way more jobs.
Yeah, we've thinned out a lot. People had to go make money, I understand that. And they kind of thought maybe we weren't doing enough.
In a way, Donnie symbolizes the People's Convoy, vastly mistrustful of the government and media, and certain he's on the right path.
It's a tough road. It's a real tough road. My parents aren't on board with what I'm doing. It's really been a challenge with them. You know, when I've needed money or whatever, I've reached out to them and they're just non-responsive. Like, they watch the 6 o'clock news and they're stuck in a bubble that isn't real. And when it bursts, they'll have a rude awakening, and that happens for everybody.
The future of the movement is now in doubt. The People's Convoy website says it's now moving back to California to protest against proposed state laws. And while many here told us they would return to Washington, D.C., there is a feeling that the energy seen in the early days of the convoy may be fizzling out.